Good evening or morning, everyone, wherever you are in the world today. We are very fortunate to have Soodabeh Mokrey talking to us this morning or evening. Suda's coming all the way from Portland, Oregon, so it's a long way from Perth. I think Perth is the most remote city in the world currently. But welcome, Suda. Thank you for giving us your time. And how's about you tell us about who you are and what you do?
Yes, thank you so much, Linda, for inviting me. And I know that we are kind of geographically really far from each other, and you are about, I think, 17 hours or so
Mm,
ahead of
mm,
us. Yeah,
mm.
it is Wednesday and it's Thursday your time. My name is Soodabeh Mokrey. You pronounce my name correctly,
Thank
of
you.
course. And I am originally from Iran. I moved to America about almost 34 years now. This November will be 34 years. And
Gosh.
so, yes, I have been working as a nurse for almost over 40 years now. By now, I was a nurse in Iran, and when I came moved to America, then I went back to school and became, got my certification, my
Interested.
license actually. Yeah, and I have
Mm-hmm.
been currently I am working as an oncology nurse, so I work with
Oh,
cancer patients. Yeah,
lovely.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
And what caused you to move from Iran?
Yes, it's a very long story. Just making it short is after revolution took place in Iran, and I was an activist, and my husband at the time was activist. So our life was not in a good place to stay there. So he moved to America to join his brother and sister about 3 years before I was able to come
Oh,
here. Yes, and then by the time I came here, he had a different life, so my life changed as well. So it
yeah.
was a new beginning and a new journey actually for me.
It's a long time that you've been there. So do you still have family back in Iran? Still got family there?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Almost all of my family are in Iran. My mom is still alive, but I
Oh,
lost my
lovely.
dad. Yes, I lost my dad when I was 13 years old. So, yes, my siblings, they are all over there. But I have two children. So I have
You're
two
busy.
children and adult children and two
Yes.
grandchildren,
Oh,
actually.
beautiful. They're very special little human beings, aren't they?
Yes.
So what are you doing besides your wonderful work as an oncology nurse? What else do you do in your business?
Yes, my business is mostly about transformation and mindset, a combination of mindset and spirituality. Part of it is when I came to America and growing up in Iran, I experienced a lot of trauma. I experienced, being captured, tortured, beaten into a
Oh,
coma by the government when I was a nursing student.
oh,
But yes,
that sounds
but
tragic.
yes, 8 years of war that we experienced, and loss of my dad, loss of my brother, and all of that. And growing up as having a mindset of not good enough and not worthy enough, and I
Mm.
looked around and I didn't look like any of my family members. So, and you know that the mindset, our mindset, shaped before the age of 6 and 7. So
That's
growing up
right.
with that,
Yeah.
right? Growing up with that mentality and coming here in America and finding out that my husband had 10 years that he already had a different lifestyle, and I was left alone with two children, no money, no family, and I couldn't even speak the language.
Right.
So
No.
yes, I experienced a lot of trauma, and coming here, I had to be in a place that and figure out who I was, aside from going back to school, learning the to speak the language, and going back to school, becoming a nurse because I was a nurse in Iran, had worked for 10 years prior to coming
Wow.
here,
Yeah.
and I had a lot of different forms of therapy that I had to work with in order to overcome my trauma. But one of the important tool or modality that really helped me was hypnosis and hypnotherapy.
Ah,
So
good.
right. So that's why I was very interested in going back to school even after getting my, being a registered nurse, and to learn about hypnotherapy and then about the spirituality, energy healing, Reiki, on different kind of modality. And then I was able to not only use for my healing journey, but also incorporating it with my patients while, in my nursing career, and also having a private practice working with client and utilizing that. And that was the basis of both of my books that I published that has those
I
stories and
see you've written
tools.
two books, Emerging You and The Angel Nightingale. Is that what are they all about? What's Emerging
Yes.
You all about?
Yes, my first book, Angel Nightingale, published in 2016, which is a combination of a memoir and the stories not only about my life, but also about the patients that allowed me, welcomed me to their home, because I was a home health nurse for
Mm.
many years before I started oncology. And they welcomed me to their home, and they allowed me to work with them and utilize different modalities. Some of them transitioned to the other side, and some of them, gained their health back. So it's a beautiful stories of how I learned about those modalities, and how I incorporated. One of the reason that I named Angel Nightingale is just when I moved to America and I didn't know anybody, and I was scared to go out and learn different ways and getting somewhere, and different people, strangers in the different country that I
Mm.
wasn't even speaking their language. They were like, I call them my angels, that they came
Ah,
into my life.
beautiful. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then Nightingale is the name of Florence, the honoring Florence Nightingale as a pioneer of
Beautiful.
nursing. And so
Beautiful.
that's how the name came about.
Very lovely, isn't it? It's very lovely. I did think of Florence when I saw the name. I thought there was going to be some connection with your
Yes,
nursing.
yes, correct. And then my second book, which is Emerging You, has just a little bit of the stories of being, for me, being stuck in a crossroad and how I got my life together. But it's a more of a self-help book of all
Ah,
the tools that I utilize with my patients, with my clients, and how they change their life. So that's what the second book is, more of a self-help book rather than the memoir and the stories. But they both are read as like a novel, like a story.
mm-mm. So you have many services on your website.
Mhm.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite service that you offer?
My favorite service that I am very in tune and is the hypnotherapy,
Ah,
because hypnotherapy is just changing the mindset,
ah,
rewiring the brain. Because as the brain has the capacity that call it neuroplasticity.
yes.
So a possibility, yeah, I grew up with a mindset of not good enough, and then that allowed me or helped me, give me the tools to, without going to see what happened to me, it just
Yeah.
changed that. So I was able to learn positive habits, change the habits of procrastination, the self-doubt that I had, and all of that was changed to something that I say, oh, I have confidence in me, so let me go and get another degree, for example. Let me learn something else, and that I incorporated to helping other people so they can create a better life for them as well.
And how long is that journey, do you think? Does someone need 5 sessions or 3 sessions, or what's the general? time? Is there a general time frame?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is a depend. It always depends on how much help the mindset they needs to shift. And some
Yes,
people
right.
like for yes, when I started my journey, I literally, and that was nothing that I had to, but I wanted to. I worked one on one for almost a year with my coach, with my
Oh,
hypnotherapist.
yes,
And yes, but the minimum of the session that I would require people, my clients, to when they work for me with me, it would be 5 sessions because
yes,
it's not like a magic wand. It's also a practice because with hypnotherapy is just I am like 50%, the client put the other 50% because it's a combination, it's a teamwork. And I give them and the recording of each session, and they have to listen to it at least once to twice a day. So it requires a lot of determination and dedication and work from the clients to see how much they are willing, I should say, they are willing to put the work to.
yes.
It's a inner work. It's a long time, a long life. It's just like you, it is not like a diet or a fad. You have to incorporate that work into, but they don't have to work for me for the rest of their lives. You know, all they do, they have the recording, and all they do, they just work on themselves. And then if they need, they can come back and we can do some coaching.
Do you have a wonderful success story that you've had in your hypnotherapy work that you'd like to share? Is there someone, one client that springs to mind?
Yes, actually, is one of my clients that I want to. It's part of my book as well. And she, when I was working with her, I went there as to figure out to see because I was during my work as a home health and palliative care nurse. So she came to us as a patient after being admitted to hospital for a heart issue, cardiac issues.
Ah,
And she was having, because she had been in and out of the hospital, that became as a an anxiety issues for her, that she would always call, and especially in the at night she would be afraid. She would get afraid and anxious about that something would go wrong as far as her health and her heart issues, and she would be admitted to hospital. So the first time that I went and saw her, she was very educated, very intelligent. She was an author, published author. She was writing, she was a columnist for one of the newspapers. So I
mm,
just got asked her a little about, her past, remembering the good time that she had. And she used to go sailing with her husband when she was younger. And I asked her, what kind of music do you like? And she liked classical music. So I said, do you mind to just play the music? And I'm going to take you through a guided imagery, because hypnosis is basis is just relaxing the mind, as
mm.
the I am speaking like I am speaking with you, and they're listening to a music, and they allow their body to relax, and then the positive suggestion would go there. I didn't even have to go really deep with her, and just the idea of relaxation when we would work 3 times a week, about half an hour, that going through experiencing the guided meditation, guided imagery, and everything. And it was the time from for her having that anxiety and calling our office in the middle of the night and needing a nurse to go visit. We went from 3 times a week to twice a week to once a week, and then she was discharged. And it was amazing because not only she wrote a literally called my director and told her about how effective our work together was, but also wrote a letter, and she showed me the letter. She wrote a letter to the director of nursing program to the hospital that she was in, and she said that why isn't that every hospital or every medical professional offer these services, because of this I am able to be functioning, and I am able to get back to normal without having
Wow.
those anxiety attacks. So
Yeah.
I really love how hypnosis works, and without being aggressive and without having medication or any of that.
Because the mind's quite a powerful tool if we learn how to
Mhm.
use it, isn't it? As you've
Mhm.
demonstrated, because you've come from a place of quite a big trauma to the success that you are today. So all the work that you have done has been worthwhile and paid off, because otherwise you could have just not progressed and stayed where you were in a I guess fairly anxious situation as well.
Absolutely. And part of it, for me, having that mindset of not good enough and not belonging and everything, I had autoimmune disease myself. And
Oh,
I had, I had my first cortisone shot in my right knee, I remember, when I was only 13 years old.
oh,
And my family would joke about it like, oh my God, we have to just wrap you in a bubble wrap and put you in a box and write fragile on it, because I was always sick and tired. But part of the, for example, something like autoimmune disease is just when I don't like myself as a person. I'm giving myself as an example. And all the thoughts and the beliefs and the negative self talk that I don't like myself, I don't look good, I'm not beautiful, I'm not as smart, or whatever that negative self talk is, what I'm doing, I'm damaging my own self. And that's what
mm-mm.
autoimmune disease is damaging one's own cells with
Yes.
with my own power. My body said I don't like myself. So learning about that and just utilizing the meditation and the guided imagery and guided meditation and relaxation technique that I learned, my autoimmune disease is under control. I have
Mm.
not been sick, in a hospital or any of that, or under, with a lot of medication that I used to, because for many years they didn't even know what was wrong with me, and that the reason I was always sick and tired.
So how would you suggest someone begin a journey with you? What would be the start point, or how would they know that you could help them?
Yes, that's a great question. One thing I want to emphasize that I would never tell anyone to stop their medication. So
Ah, yes.
everything that I do is with the supervision of their healthcare practitioner, doctors, nurses, especially
Beautiful.
when it comes to mental health, because I am not a therapist and I'm not a trauma specialist.
Mm.
So if somebody has the working with the mental health practitioners or doctors, they need to continue that and continue with taking medications. What I do offer on my website about 20 minutes discovery call. We
Ah,
can, yes, and that 20 minutes to talk and see if there is something that I can really help. And as I said, my tools is just being able to change the mindset and creating positive talk instead of negative self-talk.
mm. And has there been one health professional or one person in your life that has really inspired you? Either a book or someone that you've met, or been your inspiration, because your journey has been quite, it's come from a very traumatic space. So I guess you've met lots of people along the way that have helped you out. But who would be the main or standout person that has helped you?
Absolutely. When I at the beginning, that when I came here to US, and I learned to speak English and everything. And I would, every time I would go, home from after work, and I would turn on the TV and I would see lots of talk shows that talking about a lot of books that it was about mindset, about the spirituality and the mindfulness and all of that. So Oprah was, she had her talk shows, and I learned.
Yes.
Yes, I read a lot of the books that she was recommending, and then the woman that is really my shiro or role model
Yeah.
was actually the Louise Hay that
Oh,
she passed
yes.
away.
She did,
Yes,
didn't she? Lovely. Yeah,
yes,
I have
yes.
touched on some of her work.
Yes, and she was amazing in not only the way that she was implementing the mindfulness and all of the tools that she did, but also all the authors, her publishing company and all the authors that they did. And I not only would go and read their books, but also I would go and take their workshops. I would travel to the places
Oh,
that
wow.
those authors were. Yes, and I learned. Let me just put it this way: I invested a lot of time
Yep.
and money
Yep.
and energy to, and it wasn't because I wanted to be here and work with, other people, because I wanted to heal my
Mm,
own
mm, mm.
trauma, and I
You-
wanted to learn that there was other ways other than, because my medical doctors, they didn't understand what it was.
mm,
And am I taking medication right now? Yes, there are some issues that I need to, but that is just one tool that is helping me to keep maintaining my health and my wellness, and the rest is the mindset, the concept of mindfulness and concept of spirituality and all of that, that helped me to see that I am not only by myself. There is a purpose
mm.
to my life. There is a purpose to everything that is going on, and everything that I experience put me in a place that I can use my past and those experiences and help other people to say, hey, I was in your shoes, so
Mm,
this is what
mm.
I did, and this is what we can do to help you to go from one step to the next step, or one stage of the life to the next stage of the life.
Yeah. So it sounds like the whole journey, you found a key to fit in the lock that just worked for you. So you're were filled with passion to try and find a way to be normal or be a different version. You didn't want to be that person that was worried and anxious and upset. But I know way back in the day, I did a teacher assisting course when I was a young mum. And one day we had to learn, the unit was called English as a Second Language.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to go to the classroom in the morning, and the teacher just spoke to us in Greek all day. None of us
Mm-hmm.
knew what she was talking about. It was very confronting to have that experience. So I'm always conscious now of people that have English as a second language, to try and help them as much as I can, because it's quite confronting, isn't it? And you've not only
Absolutely.
learnt the language, you've gone on to higher education and gone through the education system. So you have done well to have the English learning and hold on to it, because I know I've been trying to teach learn French for about 6 years and I haven't got very far, but I don't live in France, so maybe that's the difference.
Most definitely, I agree. Most definitely, it makes a huge difference. But when I was going to learn English as a second language, I was so determined because I had to take care of two little kids.
Mm-hmm.
My son was 7 years old, and my daughter was
Yes.
2.5 years old. And
Yep.
it wasn't about me anymore. It was
Yep.
about, like, I am going to take care of these kids because I am responsible for bringing them, to life. So I have to do something. And it was in that not only I was going to school to learn the language, but I also hired It was for free. Of course, the school was
Yeah.
providing that.
Yeah.
I had two tutors. One tutor that was speaking my language, so I could understand the thing that we would communicate, and the other tutor was he was American. He was American speaking tutor, and his passion was he wanted to go overseas and teach, the people that then English was not their native language. So I took advantage of, I worked really, really hard, and I would come home, I would, watch TV, and, watching TV, and you understand, oh, that's what that word means.
Oh,
So
good.
I worked really hard to learn it.
So on your website, you talk about the resilient human spirit. I feel like in my journey in my life, people are fairly resilient when they have an issue that they really want to change or they want to improve. Have you seen that? Obviously, you have. It's on your website.
Yes, absolutely. We don't understand or comprehend or even recognize our potential and how
Oh,
our strength, our courage, our how resilient we are. We really truly are. Because I always say I'm not an extraordinary person. I just was able. The tools was I asked for it. I asked, when I
yeah.
thought that my life did not have any meaning, and I tried other ways to check out from this physical form, and I wasn't. Then I started thinking about, like, literally reflecting on my past and realizing that it felt like my life, I was being saved. Some higher power was
Wow, that's
saving me.
powerful. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's saving me from literally life and death situations, literally. And
Mm-mm.
for me being here, I'm like, okay, God, a higher power, universe, who,
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
just help me, show me the way. If you don't let me to cross over, and you're just, you're putting me in a prison. That's how it felt at the beginning.
Ah,
I said,
yes.
yes, and show me the way. And I know that I hope it's not like a cliche, but they talk about the butterfly, the life gets really, really tough and tight in that, a place that they are before they become a butterfly.
Ah,
That
yes.
that is what I really truly believe, the potential of every single human being.
Wow. Yeah, that's strong, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really powerful because we do hold ourselves back. I don't know in America, but in Australia, we have the tall poppy syndrome. So if you're seen to be um, emerging, I'm going to use the word of your book, then you are chopped down. People don't like it so much. I don't know if you have that in the US.
No, no, the emerging was is a good word. So yes, but it really is when we are in that, life is so hard, and we feel like we are just gonna to the point of breaking down. It's just we rise from that
Mm-hmm.
ashes. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just this is what they say here in America, and I'm sure that, in
Yes.
Australia or China or another
Yeah.
country,
Yeah. Yeah.
they have, yeah, different, but this is just, we have that potential. We are all the same. It's just it depends on how much I am able to push myself, even as a native, is English is not my native language, and still I consider it is a second language, but I put a lot of heart and soul and time to learn and how to write the book myself with the help of
Yes.
our editor. So it is
That's
just
big.
possible. Yes.
I wouldn't know how to write a book in what's your native language? Iranian. What's your native?
They call it Persian or
Oh,
Farsi.
oh, that's interesting because
Mm-hmm.
I worked as a doula. Do you know what a doula is?
Yes, yes.
And most of it was with the refugee women
Mm-hmm.
that had arrived in Australia from Afghanistan, and they
Mm-hmm.
spoke Persian, and I didn't.
Yes,
So we had to communicate with cards, with
right.
pictures and symbols through their labours. It was, I mean, it happens. That's human resilience, right? Women with women,
Yes,
we get the job done. At the end of the day, the job's done. And
absolutely.
I think as well along that way of it's not only the mindset that you've changed, but all the learning along that way is you just can't describe how much you have learned along that journey. Just
Yes.
little things. And people think, I don't know, what am I trying to say? People think, like some of my people look at me and they say, "Oh, you've got a podcast going. What's that like?" And I thought, well, it's hard. It's difficult. I've
Yes.
had to learn how to run the system. I've had troubles with my calendar and I've had to find people to chat on there. But I think in your life you're either proactive or you're passive is what I have decided. So
Yes.
you're either in there to learn to find whatever it is that you're looking for, whether it's your health, your mindset, your physical attributes, whatever that is. And you can either go on that journey to find the diamond at the end, or you're more passive and you just take what you're told and you don't have that passion to find your true self, perhaps is what I'm trying to say. Is that what you would agree?
Absolutely. I could have stayed in that victim mentality because
Yes.
that's what I had. I had that victim mentality, and I was blaming of everything and everybody. I was angry at God for taking my father away. I was
Yes.
angry at him for taking my brother in a car accident. He died like 2 months before I moved to America.
Oh.
All of these things, I was just angry. I like, why didn't you take me? Why did you take
Mm,
my brother? I mean,
mm.
it's just I was angry at my husband and that for leaving me, bringing me all the way to America and then leave me. I mean, he was the father of two kids and he didn't want to do
Yeah.
anything with the kids. I could stay in that anger, and I was in that anger. So I understand when people are in that situation. But we have a choice. We don't have
Yes.
any control about what I am going to experience in life tomorrow or tonight, but I am in control of how I react. And it took me many years to find
Yeah.
that. And I
Yes.
was I was the one that wrote a letter of forgiveness to my ex-husband, and I said, I forgive you. Thank you for giving me a life. Because
Yes.
if he wouldn't leave, I didn't have the strength to leave him. And I
Yes.
mean, I could
Yeah.
go to many years of living with him because I thought that I had to. And
Yes.
yes, I mean, I like, thank you for having the courage to leave me. I
Yes,
forgive
because
you.
it tipped me over the edge and I'm now where you are. Yeah.
Yes, it's just like I always think about it like, when I reflect, like I grew up to that certain point, a lot of like almost half of my life, believing that I wasn't good enough or I didn't have any power. And then life literally pushed me and say, I'm going to push you until you say that, okay, I'm done. I can do it. I
Do
can do
this
that.
now. Oh,
And
fantastic.
that's what I did. Yeah.
So what does a typical day look like for you? Are you doing nursing anymore?
Yes, I am working 4 days a week as as an oncology nurse
Oh,
still,
right.
and I love working with my patient, of course. And then
Yes.
the other 3 days of the week, I connect with people, speaking on podcasts. I work with clients, and I am working actually to on my speaking to be more of a stage speaking, for
Yep.
other people. Now that
Yep.
COVID is a little bit.
Yes. Gone away for now. Yeah.
Hopefully. So it is, I am always working on something new, and because my life was saved so I can help other people, even by
Beautiful. Yeah.
speaking and all of these things. So that's what I'm working on.
That's lovely. What do you do in your downtime? What would Suda Berry be doing when you're not doing this or working?
Yes, I love walking, connecting with nature, and that
Yes.
is one of my favorite thing. I love ballroom dancing. Actually, I
Oh,
did, I did
that's
ballroom
nice.
dancing and dance. It has dance and music. I should say. I mean, I can. When my kids were little and I didn't have any money and I was going to a school, in a different country, I used to play music and dance, and my kids would just laugh at me, thought I
Yes.
was mom is going crazy. So
Oh,
music, dancing, and spending time with my grandchildren, with my family.
yeah,
So
so
these are,
beautiful. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm pretty much the same as you. I like to
yeah.
spend time in nature as well. Well, thank you. I was going to say, did you have any tips you would give to someone that was perhaps in a dark place that needs some help to get out of there? Would you have some inspirational tips for them?
Yes, just remember that you are not alone. You know, at the time that we are in that dark place, we feel that we're alone and nobody understands us. And just reach out to
Yeah,
anyone that can
yeah,
help you.
that's so
It doesn't,
important.
yes, it doesn't have to be me. It may be your neighbor, it may be your sister, it may be a stranger that, you know, a doctor, whatever. Just reach out and ask for help, because that's one of the things that specifically women, that we are not, we don't want to ask for help because
Yeah,
the society said that you have to take care of everybody else. So
yes,
reach out, ask for help.
yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, thank you for your time today. I'll let you get on with the rest of your evening because I know it's getting on late in the day for you. Really appreciate you listening to me complain about my calendar because I know it was a bit of a hiccup to get us there, but finally we were there, and it's a learning
Yes,
curve for me.
for both of us.
And I see you're all over social media, so if people want to connect with you, that you're on Instagram and Facebook, and you've got your website, you've got a YouTube channel, your two books are on Amazon, I'm guessing.
Amazon,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. And you work online as well as face to face, or yeah.
A majority of my work is online, even for people that they are local or in US,
Oh,
it's always
it's just
online. It makes it easier
makes it
for
easier.
everyone. Yes,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
after COVID happened, I you know, closed my physical clinic, and
Clinic.
it's much better because it's more convenient for
It
people.
is. It is more
Yes,
convenient for people, isn't it? I agree. It's changed the world for sure in a positive way in that respect. All right.
definitely.
Well, thank you very much. You have a lovely evening, and I will be in touch soon.
Thank you, Linda.